This is the Velotric Discover 3. I have owned my Discover 2 for over a year. I put probably 3,000 miles on it. Velotric reached out to me and said, hey, we need some current Discover owners to participate in their test rider program. Would you be interested? I jumped at the chance. I got to tell them what was right, what was not right with the bike, what needed to be fixed, what needed to be improved. It was a wonderful experience. I'm going to talk about that. I'm also going to talk about the upgrades to this bike and why they make total sense. And if you're thinking about upgrading, maybe from a previous Discover model to this one, or if you're looking for your first commuter bike, why you should consider this bike. It's an amazing machine. So let's talk about it. What are the upgrades or updates to the Discover 3 versus the Discover 2? Probably the biggest one that I can think of is the pedal assist settings. There are now 5 levels of pedal assist. Before, you had 3 power levels, if you will, with 5 pedal assist levels in each power level. So this kind of simplifies things a little bit, but they have added ride tuning where you can actually customize the settings of each of these 5 pedal assist levels. Another upgrade to the ride experience that I didn't mention is called Experience. It's in the app. You can also do these settings, by the way, in the menu. I just like the Velotric app because it connects to the bike via Bluetooth, and all of those customizable settings you can do right here in the app if you want. So that's convenient. But this experience setting, basically there's 3. There's slow, I believe, smooth, and turbo. And those 2 settings can apply to the overall ride experience of the bike and also to the throttle. I don't know what the grade of this hill is, but it is steep. Extremely steep. I bet 15% or more. Maybe more than that. So I'm in boost mode, I am in torque sensor mode, pedal assist boost, and I will be downshifting a couple of times, but thanks to this new freewheel with the much wider gear range, I'm in gear 4, gear 3, and this is probably the gear I'll stay in all the way up. But I mean, I'm pedaling, but had to reposition there. Nice little truck. Here's another example of how well this bike climbs hills. I am in eco mode currently. Now I'm going to bump it up to Tour, which is 1 level above the lowest level of pedal assist, but I am having no trouble climbing this hill. None. It's amazing. Morning. This thing is just a hill climbing machine. And maybe the most unique update that they did to the Discover 3 was they added the ability to toggle using the bottom button here between the Class 1 and Class 2 and Class 3 settings. Class 1 is 20 miles an hour with no throttle. Class 2 is 20 miles an hour throttle and pedal assist. And Class 3 is 28 miles an hour top speed with no throttle. And you can toggle in between these 3 classes right here on the bike, as well as unlocking what is called custom mode. That's a 4th class, if you will. It's basically 28 miles an hour throttle and pedal assist. So why is that significant? Why do you need that? Why do you need the ability to toggle between the different classes? In a lot of areas of the country, some parks, different cities, or more and more we're seeing that they're having these restrictions on e-bikes. I ride in the American Diabetes Association event every year. That's my cause. You have to have a class 1 e-bike. So you can't go over 20 miles an hour and you cannot have a throttle. Before, when I had my Discover 2, it was no big deal. I would just unplug the throttle right here. The connector is right down here. But now I just hit the button. So it's genius. And again, you can just put it in custom mode. If you don't want to worry about having restrictions on the bike, you put it in custom mode, which is what I'm in now. 28 miles an hour, pedal assist, 28 miles an hour, throttle. And you can just leave it. Another upgrade they did was they added the Velotric SP5 suspension seat post. That's a Velotric branded suspension seat post, which is it works like a parallelogram, if I can say the word. So it basically goes down and back, down and back. That's the action when it compresses. Very easy to adjust. There's a little little adjuster on the bottom of the suspension seat post. Just undo it, take it out, use your Allen key, and that will adjust the spring tension inside based on your weight. And it really makes a difference in the ride quality, in my opinion. This is a hardtail bike, so there is no rear suspension in the back. So suspension seat post makes a huge difference, and that's included on the Discover 3. The bike also comes with Kenda, I would call them multi-terrain tires. They have a little bit of a knobby tread, but not much. But just light gravel off-road trails, the tires would be great for that. Another big upgrade, if you like to ride at night or at dawn or at dusk, this bike has a 500 lumen front headlight. It is much brighter than the headlight was on the Discover 2. And I believe I have a picture I'll put up on the video just showing you the difference in brightness. I also did a night ride with it, and it just lights up the road. It's super bright. You can also turn it on during the day. I typically turn my headlight and my rear tail light on when I ride during the daytime. This bike also has 3 settings you can do to the rear brake light. You can make it flash constantly, or you can make it flash when you squeeze the brake. It also retains the cruise control feature that the Discover 2 had. I don't know where the train is, somewhere. Here it comes. So all of these upgrades that they've done to the Discover 3 just are meaningful, every one of them. They're well thought out. Speaking of which, when we were doing our test riding on this bike, one of the requirements of being a test rider was you had to report back things you noticed that maybe were wrong in the app or maybe in the menu within the main display. And so when we would report that stuff, it was amazing to me how quickly Velotric's design team corrected the issues. And they would do an OTA, which is an over-the-air update to the firmware, and fix it, usually within a day or two. It was very impressive. That just speaks to the level of quality that Velotric puts into these bikes and how much they care about their products. What I've noticed as a test rider on the Discover 3 is the way the ride tuning settings work. You can get an even higher level of customization than you could on the Discover 2. Something else that I've discovered in adjusting the ride tuning is that I find myself using Eco mode more than I ever did. Eco is the lowest level of pedal assist out of the 5 new levels, and I find myself riding in Eco mode much more than I used to. And as a result, I get better battery performance because I'm riding in this lower pedal assist level. Now I have adjusted the 3 ride tuning settings. I've increased all 3 in each of the pedal assist levels, and that's probably why Eco feels so much better, but man, it's been great. So another update that they made to this bike was they increased the battery size. Not a huge amount. This battery has 730 watt hours of energy, but as a result, it's always nice to have a little bit bigger battery. You might extend your ride time by a little bit. The next big upgrade they did to this bike was to add an air suspension fork. And you might say, okay, well, why do you need that? So on the Discover 2, it had a coil suspension fork. Coil forks are great, but the coil spring that is inside the fork is basically non-adjustable. You can adjust the preload, you can lock it out, but beyond that, it's really not customizable based on your rider weight. Well, that's what an air fork does. You can increase the amount of air into the fork or decrease it, and that adjusts the level of comfort that you get. And if you're a heavier rider, let's say, you might bump the air up to 120 psi, and it just makes it so much more comfortable. You can really feel the difference on an air suspension fork, in my opinion. There's also a little decal on the left stanchion of the fork that tells you how much air to put in. So you can go on Amazon and get a little air pump that is designed to add air to this fork. They're not expensive, 30, 40 bucks maybe, but you don't want to use a floor pump like what you use to air up your tires. They're not designed for that. In conclusion, if you decide to get a Discover 3, if you think it's the right bike for you, I will leave an affiliate link down in the description. It really helps my channel. I do appreciate it. If you own a Discover 2, I think it's definitely a worthwhile upgrade if that's the way you want to go. If you're just looking for a commuter bike that does it all, I think this bike is it. There's also a mid-drive version of this bike called the Discover M that was released on the same day. And if you're really into the mid-drive biking experience, which just feels more natural, be sure and check that bike out. It's pretty amazing. That's actually Velotric's first mid-drive e-bike, and it's getting rave reviews, so check it out as well. Anyway, thanks so much for watching. As always, I appreciate it. I will catch you on the next one, and safe rides.